Hey guys, so I have a interesting Snake Eyes game here, and I'm gonna kind of hopefully help guide your early game decisions when playing Snake Eyes. The first main things that should kind of know when doing is you should hero power every single turn you can, except on turn 2 if you hero powered a 1 on turn 1. Other than that, it's pretty much always best to roll and use your gold effectively. Now, the question kind of comes into how should you use your gold effectively, and I think to kind of think about this goes into what I call like a board cost analysis. This really only applies for like the first six-ish turns of the game, but kind of something you should do as Snake Eyes is you should try to use your extra gold as a means to tavern tier up early, but while doing this, you don't want to fall too far behind. So something that I kind of try to do when doing this is analyze what the normal board would be. So on turn 1, you can buy a 1 cost spell or 1 cost minion. On turn 2, you're normally tavern tiering up, so you still only have that 1 cost. Turn 3, you're generally buying a 1 cost with a spell or selling off a like token, and then you're able to buy a 2. So what you would have is 2 tier 1s and 1 tier 2. And the way I weight that is the tier of the minions make this a cost of 3 of 1 tier 2, or sorry, it would be 4 with 1 tier 2 and 2 tier 1s. When you go to turn 4, you can buy 2 more tier 2s. So now you would have 8. And on turn 5, you level and buy a tier 2 minion, so you have 10. Turn 6, then you can generally do a little bit of stuff, but you're probably buying about 1 tier 3, and you end up with roughly a 13 tavern tier board on turn 6. You probably also are buying like your trinket on that turn, so you have a little bit of flexibility there. The main thing that you're kind of realizing here is you don't want to fall too far behind while you're aggressively leveling. So your board should try to keep on track with those quote unquote tier cost minions. Something that I guess is also kind of important here is I do value a tier 2 minion as double a tier 1, a tier 3 as, 1.5 a tier 2, because they're generally better stats, plus they enable more minions as you go up. It's not really a hard set true, like a battle cry obviously like isn't as important to keep on your board, but this is kind of how you should kind of think about it. Let's now evaluate, I guess, our lesser trinket choices. The first one we had was Artisanal Urn. It's okay to stabilize, however, would be forcing us into a undead mid game, and generally I just like to play as flexible as possible. Kind of similar thing for Azeroth Model Globe. It's an okay pick. However, if you look at the tribes in the lobby, there's no pirates, there's no mechs, so you kind of just without something like the World of Matic and Tethys, there's just a lot less good 6 drops. Really, the only one that I could think off the hand that I really want is something like the Atrocity. Innkeeper's Stein is kind of similar mindset of like I don't really want to be forcing a particular like 6 drop in this lobby, so I think it's better to just kind of get a more like general good minion. And Tiger Carving actually with where we are, I think is a solid lesser trinket. Tiger Carving is actually decent if you have minions that you want to keep on your board for a long time because they'll be gradually getting that more attack. Also, I think what's kind of important is you don't necessarily need to commit into beasts with it. As long as you have minions that are, getting buffs, whether it be some type of divine shield or you have minions that will stay a long time. At the point of when we bought it, we had the Macaw, and Macaw is a minion that you can have in pretty much every end board when you're in this like undead beast type lobby. In the mid game, we were able to find 3 out of the 4 minions of a core Catacomb Crusher comp. We had a Reborn Macaw, we had a Caretaker, and a Crusher, and then additionally we had Abomination, which is I consider an add-on onto this comp. At this point, I was able to hard commit into the Catacomb Crusher comp with kind of the mindset that what I wanted to still find was a Baron Rivendell, and then find a way to copy the Catacomb Crusher. And unfortunately, we didn't see those, and that's why you'll see that we kind of fell off going into the end game. Even though we had a good mid game for starting scaling, we didn't have a good way to like finalize our scaling. For greater trinket selection, we had Essence of Dreams. Honestly, this is just a bad one. We're not playing a Battlecry comp. Honestly, this wasn't even a Battlecry lobby at all, so you would never pick it. It's kind of similarly, Redeemer Portrait. I think Redeemer Portrait is okay if you're not already in a comp. However, because we had a comp kind of committed already, I don't think it was the best. Book of Medivh would have been like the second best trinket with where we're at. It's an okay trinket if you don't have a better choice, but if you have a choice that kind of synergizes with your build, it's a better pick. And then finally we had chess set, which honestly synergizes really well with our comp. It kind of gave us an extra exponential scaling because it would give us an extra McCall, and an extra McCall in this kind of comp is a extra exponential scaling. In the endgame, finally going into like the top two, we actually found ourselves in a kind of weird mirror match. Both of us were playing literally the exact same comp, however, we were both missing key units. He was able to find a KT and reborn his Cadaver Caretaker, which is a really good strategy for printing off the golden caretakers. You can kind of just, keep the board slot, have the KT eat it every turn, and you print a new stat, and that's like literally giving you another exponential scaling every turn. And honestly, this is kind of why I ended up falling behind him kind of earlier. He also didn't have a McCall, and that was kind of what kept us in like stat check with him. He also wasn't running an Abomination, but I kind of, like I said, I consider Abomination more of an add-on unit. What ends up being pretty good is in the mirror match, it kind of is like a 2-for-1 trade because it gets the stats that's buffing itself and the stats that the Catacomb Crusher is giving it every turn. So, having Abomination there is definitely a menu you can keep. It's also something you can consider, like, using the spell that, like, eats your stats every turn as a way to just take those stats that you've been scaling and put it on something else. However, if you look at this, like starting turn 12, we were still missing a Baron Rivendell. At the time, we only had like 3, or I guess we had 4 Catacomb Crusher. We had 1 golden and 1 regular, where our opponent at this time, he had his 3rd Crasher that he printed, and it was reborn. So what he was probably going to do going into the late game is he would be getting probably 2, maybe 3 golden Crashers. He would then play the Baron Rivendell, eventually sell out of the Titus, and he would sell out the Titus, sell out the KT once he finds a McCall. Kind of just really interesting seeing how there is a true, like, you can see how buying particular units in this game, both of us kind of like lost the ability to play the other one just because, people weren't able to find the key part. So really funny just seeing 2 comps where like it was such a mirror matchup, yet both of us, our comps were like wildly different because we couldn't find the same thing. So anyways, ends up becoming a nail biter. I ended up adding the guy after the game because I was just laughing my ass off from like turns 12 onwards, just because it was so funny seeing both of us struggle so much to actually finish the game off because neither of us could find those key final units. I think I found like the Baron on turn 14 or something, which is just really late to this, and ends up being a nail biter, ends up being a pretty funny game, and the guy was a good sport. He added me back, and it's funny. So anyways, hopefully just kind of going through the different mindsets can help you with your decision making. I don't think any of these decisions are necessarily like 100% correct, but what I like in these games is kind of reviewing like the decisions that I actually made to help determine, if they truly are the best decision going forward. So anyways, hopefully it helps you. See y'all out there. Good luck on your climbs. See ya. Bye. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I want to visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I want to visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more.
They wanna be like by everybody in sight, but trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. Cause I've been living life right like I